That night, I couldn't sleep. The moonlight slipped through the blinds like it wanted to whisper something cruel. I wandered into the kitchen, poured a glass of water. No reason, just something to distract me from the weight pressing against my chest. Then I felt it. Not in the house, but inside me. A shift, like part of my soul cracked under its own weight. The silence was deafening, louder than any noise. I told myself it was nothing. Just memories scratching at the walls, ghosts of conversations without closure. But when I caught my reflection in the glass, I saw a face I barely recognized. Eyes too tired, a smile long gone. In that silence, a lullaby echoed in my head. The same broken melody I used to hum just to survive. That night, I finally understood. Silence isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it's the only friend that doesn't lie, doesn't pretend, doesn't leave. Silence tells you the truth, raw and brutal. It stays when everyone else vanishes. And maybe you know that feeling, sitting in a room full of people choking on air that laughs at you, not with you. Smiling different, crying quieter, bleeding unnoticed. Hiding pain behind "I'm fine," because who really cares? But listen carefully. Silence inside you isn't weakness. It's the buildup before an explosion. And if you don't use it right, it will consume you from within until you're nothing but a ghost. Think about it. You gave people your time, your care, your loyalty, even your dreams. And what did they do? They used you like a spare tire, pulled you out when life was rough, then tossed you aside when things smoothed out. They called it love. It wasn't. It was convenience. Where were they when your world burned? Where were they when you needed someone to just see you? They vanished, and you sat there blaming yourself, convincing yourself you were the problem. But you weren't. They were blind to the gold running through your veins. One day, when that gold grows cold, they'll scream your name, but you'll be gone. Here's the truth. Pain is not punishment. Pain is permission. Permission to let go, to rebuild, to remember who you were before the world tried to break you. Every betrayal, every lie, every silent night, it all forged you. That poison they left in your chest, it's your gift. It builds your immunity. It makes you untouchable. The silence you carry now, it's not revenge. It is the revenge. Because when you stop explaining, stop chasing, stop begging, they're left alone with their guilt, their regrets, their empty hands. That's when they finally realize what they destroyed. And by then, it's too late. So don't waste this moment. Don't throw away the fire still flickering in your chest. This silence right here, it's your warning, your chance. Either you rise or you bury yourself alive. The choice is yours. Let me tell you something cold and honest. Some people were never confused. They just didn't care as much as you did. That's the truth. You keep decorating it with excuses, but deep down, you know. They saw your value. They just never thought you'd realize it yourself. And when you finally stop begging to be seen, when you start moving like the ghost they turned you into, that's when the tables turn. I didn't become this by accident. I was broken, betrayed, left to rot in rooms I built for people who only came to rest, never to stay. I gave and gave, hoping they'd notice I was real. They didn't. Not until I disappeared. Not until the silence they mocked started choking them with the weight of their own guilt. That's the game. And if you don't learn it, you'll keep losing. You're not here to fix people who keep breaking you. Not here to pour yourself into cups that never filled yours. You've given enough. Now it's time to become enough for yourself. The version of you that keeps going back to prove you're worth loving, that version has to die. Dragging it forward is just handing them the same knife for another wound. Bury who you were. Build who you were meant to be. Alone if you must. Silent if you must. But strong and untouchable. The most dangerous version of you is the one that doesn't need validation, doesn't beg for closure, doesn't explain. that silence is lethal. People mistake it for weakness until it forces them to face themselves. Silence is a mirror they can't escape. They'll call you cold. They'll say you changed, but you didn't. You evolved. You stopped tolerating disrespect. You stopped playing the clown in their story. And now they don't know how to handle you because the old script no longer works. Understand this. You survived what was meant to kill you. That's not weakness, that's quiet power. Use it. Because if you miss this season, if you break your silence for the wrong people again, regret will haunt you louder than heartbreak ever did. So, stay silent, stay dangerous. Let them choke on your absence. Let them taste life without your fire. You don't owe them closure, you owe yourself peace and silence. That's the armor that will protect it. There comes a point when you have to let silence protect you from the lies, the manipulations, the emotional games that drained you. Because now your peace is not up for negotiation. Your presence is no longer a punishment, it's a privilege. You're not the fixer anymore, not the chaser, not the fool. You are the ghost in the room, the quiet echo of love they can't replace, the lesson they'll never forget. And if you miss this moment, this rebirth, you'll end up trapped in the same cycle, always giving, always hoping, always bleeding for people who never learned to clean up the mess they made. Don't miss it. Because this silence you're sitting in right now, it isn't the end. It's the warning. It's the beginning. They'll try to twist the story. They'll say you gave up, that you were unstable, too emotional, too much. That's the favorite game of the guilty, flipping mirrors into windows. But you know the truth. You showed up every single time. You carried weight that wasn't yours. You forgave betrayal, smiled through pain, gave more than you had. And when you finally needed someone to carry you, all you got was silence. Not the peaceful kind, the lonely kind that gnaws at your ribs and whispers you were never enough. But that voice was never yours. That was planted by people terrified of how powerful you'd be if you stopped depending on them. See, they loved the version of you that needed them, the version that stayed small just to feel loved. But this new you, the quiet, calculating, unshakable you, that version terrifies them. Because now you don't need closure, apologies, or recognition. You move like a ghost with purpose. And ghosts don't beg, they haunt. That's the beauty of silence. You became the very void they left you in, except now it belongs to you. Your absence speaks louder than any words ever could. And that's what destroys them. Not the goodbye, not the distance, but the silence. Because silence forces people to face themselves. And regret. Regret screams in silence. So don't let the fire go out. You've held on to people who didn't deserve you. You've bled quietly behind smiles. You've sacrificed your self-respect for scraps. But that version of you is gone. Let them mourn it. Let them miss it. Let them wish they had treated you better when it mattered, because you don't need closure. The silence was the closure. The distance was the lesson. The pain was the teacher. And now you walk forward, not because you're fully healed, but because you finally realize you were never broken to begin with. They'll say you changed, that you went cold. And they're right. You did. Because the old you died in silence. So let them talk. Let them rewrite the story. Let them regret. You owe no explanation. Because silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's protection. And if you break it now, if you go soft again, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Stay gone, stay cold, stay silent, because this time silence is the loudest victory of all.